The history of the horror game genre. The horror game genre has undergone a fascinating evolution, transforming from simple pixelated frights to immersive psychological experiences that push the limits of interactive storytelling. From its earliest days to modern day dominance, horror gaming has captivated players with its eerie atmosphere, unsettling narratives, and fear-inducing mechanics. This article explores the key milestones and influential titles that have shaped the genre over the decades. The birth of the genre. Horror games had their roots in the early arcade and home console experiences. Games like Haunted House from 1982 for the Atari 2600 and Evil Dead 1984 for the Commodore 64 introduced players to pixelated frights and supernatural themes. These early titles were rudimentary but laid the foundation for the genre. The horror genre in gaming was heavily influenced by literature and film, borrowing themes from gothic horror, psychological thrillers, and slasher flicks. Castlevania from 1986 brought the gothic horror aesthetic to gaming, introducing players to vampire hunting and supernatural foes. Meanwhile, Sweet Home from 1989, a Japanese role-playing game based on a horror film, set the groundwork for what would later become survival horror, early innovations in psychological horror. The early 1990s saw significant innovation in horror gaming. Alone in the Dark from 1992 is often credited as one of the first survival horror games, introducing a blend of puzzle solving, limited resources, and an eerie Lovecraftian atmosphere. It paved the way for future titles that refine and expand on these mechanics. The late 1990s brought two of the most influential horror franchises alive, Resident Evil in 1996 and Silent Hill in 1999. Resident Evil popularized the survival horror genre, emphasizing limited resources, fixed camera angles, and tense encounters with the undead. Silent Hill took a different approach, focusing on psychological horror, disturbing imagery, and a fog-covered town filled with unspeakable horrors. These games cemented horror gaming as a major genre, blending cinematic storytelling with interactive fear. The rise of jump scares in modern horror. As gaming technology advanced, horror games became more immersive. The 2000s saw the rise of jump scares as a key horror mechanic, exemplified in games like Dead Space from 2008, which combined sci-fi horror with intense sound and frights. The 2010s introduced a wave of indie horror games that emphasized atmosphere and psychological terror over traditional combat. Amnesia, The Dark Descent from 2010, reinvented first-person horror with its sanity mechanics and a focus on helplessness. Slender, The Eight Pages from 2012 became an internet sensation, proving that minimalistic design and tension building could create a terrifying experience. Outlast from 2013 further redesigned this approach, offering a claustrophobic first-person horror experience where players could only run and hide. With the rise of virtual reality, horror gaming reached new levels of immersion. Titles like Resident Evil 7 Biohazard from 2017 and Phasmophobia from 2010 utilized VR to create some sort of the most terrifying gaming experiences yet, placing players in directly nightmarish environments. The impact of horror gaming. Horror games that not only influenced other gaming genres but other forms of media. The interactive nature of a gaming horror game allows for players to experience fear in a way that films and books cannot replicate. Many horror games often engage in deeper social and psychological themes, using horror as a metaphor of real-world anxieties. Moreover, the relationship between players and horror games has evolved. Once seen as a purely fear-inducing experience, horror games have developed dedicated fan communities that embrace the thrill of terror. The rise of horror game streamers and YouTubers had to help popularize the genre, turning fear into entertainment. The future of horror gaming. The horror game genre continues to evolve with new technologies. Artificial intelligence is being used to create more dynamic and unpredictable horror experiences, as seen in procedural horror games where no two playthroughs are the same. VR continues to push immersion, while augmented reality offers new ways to blend horror with the real world. Narrative horror-driven horror games are also expanding, incorporating deep storytelling, player choices, and complex characters. Games like The Quarry for 2022 and The Dark Pictures Anthology showcase how cinematic storytelling and interactive horror can merge seamlessly. As the genre moves forward, one thing is certain: horror gaming will continue to push boundaries, terrify players, and redefine how we experience fears in interactive entertainment. Hey there, fantasy and science fiction fan lovers. If you can't get enough of mystical realms, futuristic worlds, and thrilling adventures, then you come to the right place. By subscribing to fantasy and science fiction at Story Nori, you gain access to an amazing collection of stories that will transport you to realms beyond your imagination. By hitting that subscribe button, you'll never miss out on the latest tales of wizards, time travels, space exploration, and so much more. Our channel is dedicated to bringing you the best in fantasy and science fiction storytelling, and we're always adding new and exciting content for you to enjoy. But that's not all. By subscribing, you'll be also becoming part of our incredible community of fellow fantasy and sci-fi enthusiasts. You'll be first to know about the latest content for the channel that you won't find anywhere else. So what are you waiting for? Join us on this epic journey into the unknown by subscribing to fantasy and science fiction at Story Nori today. Your next thrilling adventure awaits. Right, hit that subscribe button and let the storytelling begin. Thank you for being part of our amazing community. We can't wait to share even more incredible stories with you.